Okay, this is a quick video on how to reduce noise in Photoshop. Now, I'm going to let's take this back to where it should be. We'll hit the default, and that's everything. Now, this is how I took this image. This is how it came out the camera. And you can see the settings up here. It's shot at f5.6, 1/250th of a second, ISO 640, 24 to 70 28 mil, so it's shot quite wide. And the reason it was shot quite wide is because I wanted to give a little bit of this scene. We're outside the church, etc., etc. But it was an afternoon wedding in January. Pretty dark by the time we came out, and by the time we started doing the photos of the couple, we did all the family and friend shots, and then we started doing the couple, and it was just getting darker and darker. To be able to see anything behind the couple, we had to have a little bit of light in there. Now, a little bit, we try to bump up the ISO to see a little bit of what was going on. The problem when you bump up the ISO though is when you've got dark stuff here. If we go right into the sky here, it's probably too far. You can see that there is a lot of noise, a lot of grain. So you can do a couple of ways to get rid of things in Photoshop. First thing first, let's just sort out the light and dark in here. I'm quite happy we're seeing all the detail in her dress and her watch and things like that. But the face is a little dark, so let's put in a stop of light. One stop's fine in Photoshop. Um, and again, if we go into here, we're still seeing the detail, but they're starting to get lost in amongst the white. So let's take the highlight slider down. And you see it reinvigorates. We can see, if I take that all the way down, it really emphasizes the noise. So if we take it down about there, so we've got nice smooth dress, we can see all the details, we can see the details in here. But our problem is if we go up here, I can see with my eyes, and we're only at 123%, quite a lot of noise in his face. And again, if we go back into the sky, you can see there's quite a lot of noise in the sky. So to get rid of the noise, first we could go to the details tab here and try and attempt it right now. I prefer to go back into Photoshop first. So open the image, and when it opens into Photoshop, it comes in as a background layer. So click on the wee padlock, and that's now a regular layer. We can do stuff with that. I'm also going to duplicate the layer, so you can right click and duplicate it here, or you can, I prefer just to go Control and J on the keyboard, and that's a duplicated layer there. So without doing anything in here at all, I'm quite happy with the colour of it. There's maybe just a tiny wee bit brightness up there that I would take down again, but overall happy with the colour. I can see details in the dress at the bottom and his feet, going to the laces, things like that. Things that, you know, if you took the time to get yourself all spruced up for a wedding, you might want to see how's my lacy lying, or my shoes, or have I got the gaiters in the right way, all that sort of stuff. So let's go into Camera Raw again, and we'll do our noise reduction in there. So hit Filter, Camera Raw Filter, left click that. And there's one thing when you come in here, if let's do this whole thing right from the start, and I'll show you. So close and go to Bridge. Say nope, not saving anything. Number 2 is the bridge. So go right back into the same image. Now save the changes I've done there to the raw file will still be saved, even though I never saved the file. When it asks you to save the file, once you went into Photoshop, it's asking if you want to save it as a Photoshop document, a PSD. When you're in here, any changes you make will stay unless you go back and click to the default, or outside of Photoshop, you can highlight the file, right click it, and go to develop settings, and you can clear them. But so for now, these changes that I made were there. If you look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So forget these two, these are just for rotating, and forget this one. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got 13 icons there, and here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 icons there. So we'll open the image. So it's 13 and 10. We'll duplicate the layer, click this padlock, get rid of the padlock again, duplicate the layer, Control and J, and go back into the camera raw filter. And you'll see now we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. We've not got the option to rotate it, they've went. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've lost these two. We've also lost the option to crop. We can't crop in here. We can transform but can't crop. So if you want to do any cropping in the very first instance, that's the time to do it. I prefer to do my cropping in Photoshop anyway, once all my adjustments have been done. So we're back in here and you'll see that this is reset. Any changes we do now, we're going to be doing it to the layer we're on as opposed to the overall document. It's just this layer that we're working on now. So we're going to come, firstly we're going to zoom in right to the sky. I'm going to zoom into the sky and keep some of his feature in there as well. If I really go into his ear, now we're at 600% to the point where we're breaking down. 425%. You can see there's a little bit detail lost there to that noise. If we reel in it, you can see there's pixelated bits of noise in there. Definitely noise in the sky. And there's definitely some on his face, although it's not too bad on his face. So let's come in here, let's come into detail tab. Now this is counterintuitive. At the bottom part of this panel here is reduction and the top part is adding. Or actually some of it is adding and some of it is masking and some of it is hiding. So let's start at the bottom if you like. You can start at the top, but I would advise you start at the bottom first. You can put in a little bit of sharpness now. If you put in lots of sharpness, you can see just how bizarre and HDR like it looks. So starting from here, put in a little bit, and the area I'm looking in is here, round about his ear. Am I making it sharper or am I distorting it? So we'll make it a little bit, and all it's doing is adding a lot of contrast into the darker bits of this image. So we'll put some in there. We'll come to the radius. Now if I put the radius massive, I'm holding the Alt key down, the option on your keyboard if you're a Mac user. I'm a Windows user. If I put that away up, put it to there, the radius is 0.5 pixels, away up to 3 pixels, and you can see it's far too much. You want your radiuses to be 0.5 to 1 pixel. Any more than that and you're going to overcook it. If you hold that down, anything that's white is unaffected. Anything that's black is affected, and we're not wanting to get to black, we just want to get to about a pixel, and that just sharpens up these edges here. But it sharpened up the noise as well. So now we want to go to the detail. Again, if we hold the detail, you see we're adding a lot in, and again now we're reducing again down to 0.5 or 5, and if we hit P on the keyboard, you can see it's softer there, and that's because of the noise. We've made it a little bit sharper, but we've not reduced any noise yet, and we're going to mask that again. So we're coming pretty much anything that's white is hidden. So we'll just go to there just now. Anything that's black is revealed. So let's now go up here with the luminance slider. And let's take that back down. I'm still holding Alt key. We don't hold the Alt key down on this one. We just slide it to the right. And if you look at the noise here in the first instance, you'll see slowly but surely the noise is disappearing. And we've been left with a reasonably sharp edge. We've got a nice sharp edge on his ear there. Again, hit P on the keyboard and you'll see a before and an after. P, that's the before, we got the noise and grain, and that's the after. You can go much further than that and you can really affect your image. If you come up to his hairline here, you'll see that there's a bit more effect. I'm going to take this a bit up, we're at 35, so let's take it all the way up. If you over sharpen it, you'll see you introduce this lighter coloured edge that you don't want. That was at 35, we'll come back to there. It is still a little bit light, but at 0% it'll never be noticed. Now, one of the things you remember when you're doing this, don't get fixated on noise. Yep, you want to reduce some of it if it's quite apparent, because when you print it out, it shows as like little grey speckles. That sky would have been quite obvious on some luster, or especially high gloss. If we printed that as a nice high glossy one, it looks not bad like this, and I'm quite happy with like that. Um, other little adjustments I might be doing here, we can maybe do a little bit brighter, but this is just going to be for the couple. So again, or in fact, I don't even think we need to do with them. I might actually do the opposite. I might bring it down a little bit. This is a radial filter, and with a radial filter you can either work inside of it or outside. At the moment I'm working outside, so let's the sky's got a nice wee bit of saturation in it. Do you want to make it a little bit colder, reflect it's night, or make it a little bit warmer? I'll leave it about there. Exposure, I'm going to take exposure down a little bit. This is only affecting the outside. Clarity, I don't think we need so much clarity in there. We'll take that down. And I can actually move this about so that more of that's affected. Again, we can adjust the sharpness here, but because I've already adjusted it, I wouldn't. We'll put a little bit more saturation in, and I'm fine with that. Click the hand and it'll get rid of that. So again, let's go into about halfway up, hit Z on the keyboard or click the magnifying glass, and we come up a little bit. So we get nice sharpness and nice kill. Our body, our skirt, sorry, the material and that's all nice colour. Let's just take the whites up a little bit. If you overdo the whites, you'll probably have to come back with the highlights again. And I think that looks not too bad. So, and I'm now looking up here and I'm not seeing any obvious, again, any edges to these bits up here would have this little halo in. So I'm quite happy they're not there. Come back in Photoshop, and pretty much all we need to do here to get before and after. You can take this all the way in now and have a look at it. Take a little bit of colour there, but that's probably lent against something, and that a little bit there, and I would be able to fix that up. So if we turn this layer off now, that's where it started, and that's where it's finished. We've got nicer, I think it's a nicer colour in the sky for a night. Again, we can do that. See, we've affected the roundabout part there. We've not really affected that much. And again, if we could go in here and we could put maybe a curves adjustment layer, if I wanted to bring it up just a little bit, put a little lift the shadows, but come up to highlights and just take them the other way. Try and keep it quite equal in your movements. That's too much. So we've created a little bit of an S curve here. And once I've done that, I usually go and apply the image, and we come up to the image menu, say image, apply image, and that will really work on the highlight area. And you see we've lost that pop of light off her, which I thought was too bright there. But anyway, that's how you get rid of the noise. I kind of wandered off track here a little bit. And if you wanted to crop it, I would probably crop that. Would take it to, I think I sent them quite a lot of 5x4s in this one here. But this would look good in a 2x3, i.e. a 6x4. She's on that line, he's on that line. We could bring it up a little bit, but I want to keep the point in the gate and take it over that way just a fraction. Put her back more on that line. Click OK, and there you have it. How to get rid of noise in your images. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe.